guys, come on a magical mystery journey with me into my storage room. Let me find the lights. Okay, so this is my storage room. Now, if you were watching my travels around Europe before I left to go on my travels, I basically had this room stuffed full of everything from all of the rooms in my house because I had somebody staying here whilst I was away and I used this for storage. Since I've been back, I've cleared a lot of stuff out of here. For a while now, I have been thinking that what I want to do is to record some of my older books as audiobooks because hiring people to read your books is exceedingly expensive. I had a publisher pay for it once and that was really nice. I'm currently working on one at the moment where I'm paying for it myself and it's taking a long time because it is multiple character. So I'm hiring quite a few different actors because I want it to be really, really good. But I'm doing that in stages as I can afford it. But some of the older stuff I thought, well, you know, not being funny or anything, but I did a couple of years of drama school. I should be able to read them. But it's not about the reading them, it's about the quality of the reading. And really, you need a recording booth. Especially here, I've spoken before about the holes in the house. So that's for ventilation. Most Rwandan homes have them. It is literally a hole from the inside of the house to the outside, and you can hear everything going on out there. So, you know, you can be partway through reading a sentence and you know, a car goes over the speed bump outside, you hear the clunk, or a hadada, which is this big bird, goes overhead going and you can't get anything done. Or my cats, I love my cats, but they have got no sense of timing and they can just start meowing in the middle of a sentence, and it's like, it's really stressful because when you're reading out loud, like, if you're like me, I kind of lose all ability to string a sentence together. You know, I can be reading it in my head, no problem, or I could be reading it to someone and I'm okay. But when I sit down and I know that that microphone is on and the sentence has to be perfectly delivered, I trip over my tongue all the time. So it's already a frustrating process. So I am having a recording booth put in about 2 days' time. So my friend Bolone has a music school and these guys did that. They basically just padded the whole wall with foam, and that's what they're going to do on a smaller scale for me. I have a Blue Yeti microphone, which is fine just for doing audio recordings. And I put it inside a table and I padded the table with pillowcases and egg carton. And, you know, it just wasn't really enough. So a Blue Yeti microphone is my absolute go-to tool for that, but it's only as good as the surrounding sound, because you can use something like Audacity to remove background sound, but every time that you remove background sound, and the more background sound that you remove, the lower the quality of the voice that you keep. So you're basically taking away quality from the vocal recording whenever you take down background noise in post. So really you want it to be as quiet as humanly possible when the sound is going into the microphone. So that's what we're going to see if we can fix, basically, because I've tried every other way of doing it. I've tried recording in cardboard boxes, I've tried recording under blankets, under duvets, nothing's quite good enough. So I'm really hoping that this booth that will be behind me is going to fix the problem. Fingers crossed. I am currently drinking a very large glass of wine because today did not go as planned. Definitely did not go as planned. So I was really excited this morning because a guy was supposed to turn up at 10 o'clock to come and start building my little sound booth. Now, he'd been a few days ago and I'd explained exactly what I needed. My two stipulations were that it needed to be a small, very small booth because it's in a small room, just enough for like a chair and a desk. And I was absolutely explicit that it had to be a standalone structure so that it was not attached to the walls, so it didn't damage the walls in any way and I could move it if I needed to. It was just going to go along here, just the length of that wall, and so you come in through a door here and you'd be in the recording space here. So nothing complicated, nothing difficult. And a couple of hours later, well, quite a few hours later, I came in to check what was going on. And he decided that I didn't need a booth. What he decided I needed was the entire room turning into a sound studio. Now, he'd actually already charged me in the deposit for enough materials to do this, but he hadn't communicated it with me. He hadn't come up and said, look, can I check? Do you just want a little sound studio, sound booth, or do you want the whole room doing? We talked about this, and I was really straightforward with him. I said, no, I just need a little booth, enough for a chair and my laptop, and that would be fine, because this is also a storage room, and I still have stuff I need to store in here. So, without asking me, without checking with me, he put a massive wooden frame around the whole of the room and smacked holes into everything. So, I did not have my happy face on when I saw that. I was really upset, and I said, look, this isn't at all what we've talked about. And if it'd just been some carpenter that I pulled off the street and said, build me a sound booth, I shouldn't have been surprised. But he wasn't. He's done this work in other places. So I assumed we were on the same page. But you know what they say about assuming? Makes an ass out of you and of me. So he said, give me 30 minutes, give me half an hour and I'll fix this. So I thought, well, okay, I actually left for an hour, and I came back and all he'd done in that hour was to take down that frame and make a little square frame over here that was still twice the size of the booth that I needed. And he kept telling me, because, you know, when you've padded it, it'll be the right size. And I looked at the amount of padding he was put in. It was massive compared to the space I needed. And I don't know what was going through his head. I know what was going through my head. So I was really excited this morning because I thought, yay, by the end of the day, or maybe by the end of tomorrow, I'm going to have a little personal recording studio in my house. And instead, I'm not going to lie here, in total with the deposit and the extra money he needed for materials that I didn't realise were enough materials to do an entire room rather than just a little booth, I've paid him just over £200 francs for 6 hours of knocking holes into my room. So, for my own mental health, I decided that we were done, and I said, you know, I think you should go. So I've got all of the materials still, but I don't know if any of these materials are what I'm going to actually need to build this. So I've got some heavy cloth and lots of foam and some glue and nails, and I'm going to get an actual carpentry friend in to come and see if he can salvage it. He was going to come back on Sunday to fix the damage in the wall, but then there was one final insult to injury, and I just said, no, I don't want to see this guy again, ever. Because basically, he tidied up in here. Well, they tidied up in here, and they swept up all of the broken pieces of wood and the sawdust and the nails sort of like lying on the floor. And instead of asking for a bin to put them in, they just threw them on my garden. This guy's honestly unbelievable. It's like, how hard is it to ask for a bloody bin liner? Hi guys, so it's the end of day one, and this is the difference when you get a professional builder in. I don't know if you can quite see what this is, but this is the outline of my booth. So my good mate Desiree came with his friend Eric, and Eric has plastered over and painted all of the holes that the other guy left, so you can't even tell what happened in here now. Which is a hell of a relief. And he's put together the frame for my booth. So it still needs to be soundproofed, but they've bought much better plywood. So the stuff the other guy brought was single plywood, whereas this has got multiple layers. And it's the perfect sort of size. It's not too big, it's not too small. If I just turn the light on, you can see. I can stand up in here if I want to, but I envisage that I will mostly just be sitting down. There's the plug socket over there, and he's going to leave a small gap at the bottom of the door so that the air can get in. We sort of had to have that quick conversation because I suddenly realised that if we pad it and completely soundproof it, there might not be any air inside, which I will need. So I'm super excited. It's completely freestanding, so it's not going to affect the walls at all. This is exactly what I wanted in the first place, is just a little soundproof booth. I am so happy. So the guys came back today, and I'll show you what they've done. They reckon they're going to be finished tomorrow. I'm so damn happy. Have a look at this. So you can see that they've padded here with the fabric, and it's just absolutely incredible. Here's the door that's going on it. We're going to have a wire that has an extension lead going from the plug inside, so I'll be able to plug in my laptop and a lamp as well. I need to get a lamp. But they've done such good quality work. It's really amazing. It's fantastic. And the minute that you step inside, I don't know if you can hear this, but did you hear how my voice just changed? It's absolutely incredible. It feels like almost like there's pressure on my ears, almost like I'm going up in an aeroplane. It's the weirdest sensation. And then the minute that you step outside here, you can hear the echoing again. But if I go in here, so yeah, there's a massive difference between the quality of the sound out here and the quality of the sound in here. It sounds so professional. It's still echoing a little bit because there's no door on it, because it hasn't been doored yet, but we're also going to get some carpet on the floor. So there's a little square of carpet coming, and once that's done and the door's closed, it's going to be absolutely soundproof. So yeah, I'm absolutely over the moon. They've done a fantastic job. Des sent one of his young lads over, and he's just done such a quality job. He's done really well. And I'm just super happy because all of this started out really badly and it's now a story that's got a happy ending, and I can't wait to start recording in here. So I'm incredibly excited to show you this. Des and the gang were here yesterday and they've finished. You can't really get a sense of it unless I walk backwards. But this is my sound booth. Let me show you inside. Okay, so here's the setup. I've got my chair here. And the cool thing about this is I've got another little table that I can put just below. And if I do that, then I can sit down to record here with this below. And I can also have the laptop here and stand up to record here. So I can record standing up or sitting down, which is what I wanted, because sometimes recording takes a long time and you want to move about a little bit. The other really cool feature is that he's put this little nick here, so that can go under the door when it's closed without jamming the door open. Now, it doesn't look like it from the outside, but there is a little bit of air hole in here. So there's enough air hole at the top that air can come in and out, but it doesn't affect the sound in here. I suspect it might get a little bit warm at times because we've also put carpet down as well. But we're going to see how it goes. I can always open the door and step outside for a minute if I need to. I've got my little extension here, which has got USB and universal plug sockets. So I think I've got everything I need. Honestly, I just cannot tell you how excited I am. This is exactly what I wanted. Just standing in here, it's almost like, I mentioned this before, but it's almost like there's pressure on your ear, like you're going up in an aircraft. It's the strangest sound. It really completely deadens the reverb on your voice. So it sounds, even to my own ears talking now, it sounds like I'm a professional television presenter talking into a microphone. I should be on the BBC News. I can hear it coming through my ears. Better quality. It's really bizarre. It also feels amazing. I can't stop rubbing the soundproofing. I'm sure I can get therapy for that. The only weird thing is that I was Googling what the background sound in a sound booth should be. And they say in a professional sound booth, it should be below 20 decibels, which is really quiet. It's like tiny little whisper. So I downloaded a couple of decibel meters, and I'm a bit perplexed because one of them reckons it's around 30 decibels in here, background, and the other one reckons it's about 18, 20, so below 20. Standing here and listening myself, yeah, I'd say it's about 20 or less. I'm not too sure where it's getting that 30 decibel, 35 decibel reading from. So I think that not all decibel meters or decibel meter apps are born equal. But either way, it's perfect for my needs. It's going to be really nice and quiet and give me a really good quality of sound. I've only been in here for about 5 minutes now, and it's already a little bit warm. So I think I need to take my slippers off and maybe change into some shorts. But I mean, it's perfect. It's exactly what I wanted. Just out of sheer curiosity, I wonder how much you can hear outside when I'm talking inside. Let's give that a go. And I also asked Desiree to help me sort out my kitchen storage issue because all of my pots and pans used to live on here and it was such a mess. I could never find anything. Everything just kind of cluttered up the place. So he's made me these wonderful shelves to put all of my stuff on and my knives and forks. And he made me a little spice rack. And also he's the king of floating shelves. So I asked him to make a couple of little shelves for tea and coffee over here, and he makes these really stylish shelves that just look like they're floating. I love them. I got him to do them over here for my computer shelves a while back, and I like them so much I had some more made because they are very chic.